I'd like to start the discussion by getting your thoughts around the shift from the experience economy to the transformation economy. In our last piece of research, it revealed that experiential rewards like travel experiences have overtaken rational rewards like points and cashback. Today, this has evolved further. Consumers are looking for transformative experiences that add value to their lives. What are your thoughts?
So it's a super interesting and important shift that we're seeing, which is that it's quite remarkable, but people have always been happier when they spend their money on experiences than when they spend them on material goods. And what's remarkable about that is intuitively it seems wrong to do that. I remember well when I was invited to go skiing with my college roommates in Aspen, and I'd saved up money to buy a new couch. And I remember thinking, God, can I really afford, can I blow all my money on such a quick trip that'll be over in a week when this couch will last a long time? But what I didn't realize at the time was that that experience of going to Aspen with my roommates would actually last forever. That becomes interweaved inside you. It becomes part of you, part of your life's narrative. Whereas the couch, whatever couch I would have bought when I was 21, would long since be by the side of the road. And so experiences actually provide a much bigger, longer term bang for the buck on happiness than material purchases do. And transformative experiences are, of course, what we're really after. When somebody asks you the narrative of your life story, humans almost never mention things they own. Well, I own this and I own that. It just doesn't come up. It's what you do, what you enjoy, who you spend time with. So it's the people in your life and the things that you do with them. And transformative experiences are the goals. That's what everybody really wants. If they have the opportunity, that's what they love to do. And so that's what everybody's shifting toward.
You once said, today's consumers prefer experiences because happiness lasts longer for them. And in your latest book, you also talk about the fundamental tension between humans, connection, and the need for autonomy to achieve and sustain happiness. Are you able to share a little bit more on this for us?
Sure. So it's kind of evolution played this little bit of a dirty trick on us. 6 million years ago, when we separated from our chimpanzee cousins and left the rainforest and moved to the savannah, we suddenly needed to connect with each other in a much more fundamental way than we ever did before. Because now suddenly there are predators that could easily attack and kill us, eat us, that were not a threat when we were living in the forest, when we were basically like chimpanzees. And so we developed this strong need for connection. Now, one of the most remarkable things about this need for connection is that you can actually see it anatomically. If you look at the whites of your eyes, they advertise the direction of your gaze. So when I look lower to the right, everybody in this room can see that because I've got a dark center and then a white all around it. And then you immediately know where I'm gazing. Chimpanzees are also smart like we are, but their browns, not as smart as we are, of course, but their eyes are entirely brown, and so they disguise the direction of their gaze. Now, they're our nearest cousins, and what that tells us is that we started out life very competitively. I didn't want you guys to know where I'm looking because you would compete with me to get it, and then we became wildly cooperative, such that I want you to know where I'm looking because you're going to help me if it's a threat, and you're going to help me achieve the opportunity. So connection's our most fundamental need. But then, of course, human beings there's many ways for us to be a success in life. We're not like dung beetles, where we just have to roll as big of a ball of poo as possible, and then Bob's your uncle if you successfully got it together. I might decide to be the best hunter, and so James and I are in the group together, but he relentlessly hunts better than I do. So fine, I'm gonna give up on that. Maybe I'll be the best arrow maker. But JK makes better arrows than I do. Fine, I'll look for something else. And so our sense of autonomy allows us to pursue what we regard as our best prospects, to go in directions that we think are going to really help us. And we know what motivates us. We know what can sustain us. And so we need those two things. But the downside is that they're in constant competition with each other. For me to be autonomous and self-governing, I have to not do what James wants. He wants to see that rom-com, but I want to catch a Schwarzenegger flick. So we're going to go different directions. But for me to be a good relationship partner, well, then I have to go see this rom-com and not do the things that I'd really want to do. And so it's bad luck for humans that we've evolved this competition between each other. But of course, there's different phases in our life where they take on different levels of importance. And we seek experiences early in life that are really about trying to enhance our autonomy. But as we get older, connection starts to retake center stage.
I'll see the Arnie movie with you. It's okay.
Thank you.
We can do it. We'll do a deal on that.
We've been arguing about this forever.
Yeah. Collinson International recently commissioned a new study in collaboration with yourself, the 2025 Asia Pacific Customer Happiness Study, surveying 4,000 respondents across 8 markets. Its aim was to understand how consumers across different generations and markets relate to factors that drive fulfillment of happiness. In turn, brands can take these insights to evolve their customer value propositions to better gauge and build loyalty with their most valued customers. In the preliminary findings of the survey, we learned that in Australia, that as people age, they tend to prioritise rewards that enhance connections with family and friends over those that promote autonomy. Younger generations, let's look at Gen Z in particular, lean towards a more balanced view, valuing both connections and autonomy equally. What's your perspective on this? Is this a reflection of the different life stages of each group, or is there more to this?
I think it's very much a reflection of the different life stages. And so when you think about when you're young, you're kind of an autonomy machine. Your goal is to develop yourself, to become the best self you possibly can be, to build the skills that you need in order to be a success in life. But hopefully you don't get derailed and that becomes its own goal itself. Because of course, the whole purpose for autonomy is to become more valuable to others. And so with luck, as you age, you start to realize, boy, I've let some of my connections lapse a fair bit. I need to start reorienting toward them because that's the whole reason I work so hard in the first place, in order to develop my skills and talents. And that difference that we see in Australia, where as you get older, you start to value connection rewards that will allow you to connect with friends and family, you start to value them more than when you're younger. 8 countries that we saw, every single one, you see that effect, that as we get older, we start to regain and revalue our connections. At least once you get to be my age, once you get to the boomers. Now, of course, there was variability across the different countries. And in fact, in Thailand, connection rewards were more important across the board. But even so, older adults still valued them more than younger adults. And so that's just kind of how our life progresses. If we do it right, we work hard on ourselves, we become the person we want to be, and then we become more valuable to others, and we reestablish our connections and emphasize them again.
So almost half of Gen Z and millennials in Australia rely on rewards and benefits that provide access and experiences to unique environments, and they're happy with what they receive. Does this translate into establishing stronger brand loyalty and engagement, in your opinion?
It very much can. And so the key is, when you can establish a relationship with somebody, there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can do it by giving them things that they really want, but you can also do it by giving them experiences that they then tie to your brand. If my brand allowed that for me, if it gave me that opportunity that I wouldn't be able to have otherwise, there's an immense amount of loyalty that's not going to just go away. You can destroy that loyalty, but if you nurture it properly, people are going to always associate the brand with the experience that they had, and it becomes part and parcel of the same thing. And so I'm very fond of the brands that I use regularly. It's one of the things that we also see in that survey. As you get older, you become more set on your brands, and you become less likely to change them. And so we saw that in almost every country as well. And so you start to know what you like, and you stick with them, and it makes you happy.
And there's a lot of brands in this room who are fortunate enough to be in a position that they can offer those sort of experiences to people, which is exciting. In your view, can brands build strong connections in the same way people build connections with each other? Because that's quite a unique experience. Is that something that you feel is possible?
It is possible. It's not easy. None of these things are easy. But if you think about, well, humans form social connections, but we also form what we call parasocial connections, which are, you might become really good friends with a TV character who's not even really that person, right? They're acting out a role and you really love them and you can't wait to see what they're going to do this week. Those aren't real connections. They don't know you exist, and they're not even the person they're pretending to be. But you can do that with objects as well. And so I'm not sure if you guys saw that Tom Hanks movie where he ends up stranded on that island and becomes friends with Wilson the volleyball, right? That's an extreme case, but we all became connected in Michael Jordan's shoes, right? They're nice shoes, they look great, but we also feel a little bit more like Mike. We're kind of his buddy now when we wear those shoes. And so those kinds of connections mean an enormous amount.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Dr. Bill. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.